There was a small town surrounded by hills, where a young boy named Armaan lived. He was intelligent, kind, and full of dreams. But he had one problem: he wanted to be perfect in everything. Whether it was school, sports, or his art, Armaan believed that making even a single mistake meant failure. Every night, he'd sit in his small room, erase his sketches again and again until they looked flawless. His father, a humble mechanic, often told him, "Greater than beta, perfection is a journey, not a destination." But Armaan would only smile and say, "No, Papa, I'll show everyone that I can be perfect." Days passed. Armaan entered a local art competition. He spent weeks preparing, sketching, and painting. He barely ate or slept. On the final day, as he was finishing his masterpiece, a drop of water fell from the roof, right on the face of the painting. The colors smudged. Armaan froze. His eyes widened. His hands trembled. He felt as if his entire world had broken apart. He ran outside in the rain, shouting, "Greater than, why me? I tried so hard. Why can't I be perfect?" The next morning, he woke up late. His painting was ruined, but his father quietly cleaned the room and placed the smudged artwork on the table. Armaan looked at it again, heartbroken. But then something strange happened. When he looked closely, the rain mark had formed a beautiful shape, almost like a reflection of a tear on the painting's face. It made the painting look real, full of emotion. His father walked in and said gently, "Greater than, you see, beta, even mistakes can create beauty, if your heart is in the right place." Those words struck Armaan deeply. He decided to take the painting to the competition, not to win, but to show it anyway. When his turn came, he stood in front of the judges, nervous and trembling. "Greater than, this painting," he said, "isn't perfect. A drop of rain changed it. But maybe life wanted to remind me that beauty doesn't need perfection." The hall was silent. The judges looked at each other, then back at the painting. One of them smiled and said, "Greater than, this is not just art. This is life." Armaan didn't win the first prize. But the audience gave him a standing ovation. That day, he realized something far more valuable: respect comes from honesty, not from being perfect. Years passed. Armaan grew up and became a famous art teacher. His students admired his work, but what they loved most was his message. Greater than, every stroke, every mistake tells a story. Don't fear your flaws, they're proof that you tried. One day, a small girl in his class cried because she couldn't draw a straight line. Armaan smiled and said, "Greater than, even rivers don't flow straight, yet they reach the ocean." That line changed the girl's life, and years later, she too became an artist. In his old age, when Armaan looked back at his journey, he realized that his greatest artworks were never perfect, but they always carried heart, emotion, and truth. He sat by the window, painting one last picture, a landscape filled with uneven mountains, a crooked tree, and a broken sun peeking through clouds. He whispered to himself, "Greater than, maybe, this is what perfection really looks like, imperfect, but real." And as he finished his painting, a soft wind passed through his room, moving the curtain just slightly, enough to make him smile. Because for the first time in his life, Armaan didn't fix his mistake. He simply accepted it, and that acceptance made him truly complete.